Can you show that scripture where Jesus said, be as virtuous as the dove? Be as morally sound as the dove. Be morally grounded like the dove. Be good, be nice, be kind, be loving like the dove. Have the fruits of the Spirit like the dove. I don't know if you have learned that among the birds, there are only 3, I'm told, maybe only 3, that get married and stay married till death. The dove is number 1. They don't play around. The eagle is number 2. And God associates himself with such animals. Be holy like the dove. Be righteous like the dove. Be humble like the dove. Be broken like the dove. Then he turns and says, be as wise as the serpent. I didn't know that believers can be asked to borrow something from the serpent. I thought the serpent is all bad, all evil. We will never need anything from the serpent. But I got to find out in the making of leaders of Israel. Any leader that you know in the Bible that succeeded, they had 2 forms of training. They will keep them at home for moral, spiritual, priestly training under their patriarchs. Once they complete that, they send them over. God will arrange, send them over to Satan's children to give them the serpentine training, the wisdom training. Look at David. He had 2 mentors. The first was Samuel, a man of God, a righteous man. He was the man that anointed him. The other was Saul, a demon-possessed man. Why will you send a good man like David to Saul to train for 30 years? And with all that he learned from Samuel, he was not ready for the throne until he went to Saul. Look at Joseph. 17 years of training by his father, who is a man of God. All of those moral things. We can see how he was able to survive Potiphar's wife. It was all from the training he got at home, under his own pastor that was his father. But then at age 17, God said, now you need serpentine wisdom. We'll send you to Potiphar and we'll send you to Pharaoh. Why will a man of God, why will a prophet need Pharaoh's training, needs Potiphar? What can they add to your life? Everybody do like this. Say, well, the eagle flies with 2 wings, not 1. Say it. So one is the supernatural, the spiritual dimension. The other is wisdom. Let me even tell you, when he came to the school of wisdom, God borrowed 2 mentors for David. In the school of the spirit, he seems to use just 1 mentor. Samuel was enough. After David sat under Saul for many years, God said, their greatest enemy, the greatest enemy of Israel, are the Philistines. Let's send them over to go and learn their military technology, learn all of the wisdom of the Philistines, add to the wisdom resident in Israel before we put him on the throne. So, pressure came through Saul, persecution. Saul, that loved him where he came, started attacking him until the point he crossed over to the Philistines and joined the king of Gath. The same people he killed their Goliath, he joined them, joined their army. I wanted to know what was going on here. God, why? Why will you do this? I want you guys to know why. In my development, for those of you who sit under me here, who call Dominion City your home, I'm a man of two worlds. So you come to the spiritual dimension, the moral dimension, the ethical dimension, strong. God has helped us. But it's not enough. You can be good and be stupid. You can be kind and be very stupid. And the world we live in is merciless to good people that lack wisdom. Your prayer must throw up a man that has balanced tools. His tools of labor are balanced. Now you know why Moses will not be raised by the Jews alone. After they contributed, was it not his mother that took him from the time he was born? After they had a period of time to invest in that boy, the rest of the training was Egypt. What is he using? You forget that these people are occult people. They are magicians. They are astrologers. They are men of the underworld. What are you sending a man of God like Moses that will give the world 10 commandments over to them to train him for what? Please put it up in Acts chapter 7 that Moses was learned in all the wisdom of Egypt and he was mighty in word and in deed. You sit in church, we give you all the things you need to be a man of God, but it's not enough. What do you think people like me are doing in business schools, doing in Harvard? That Bible you are reading contains more than spiritual things. It is the wisdom that wrote that book that created the universe. What has your wisdom produced? It is that wisdom that created everything you're using on earth. Why is your own wisdom only to speak in tongues? But can't solve any problem here. God created two worlds, spiritual world and physical world. Heaven and earth. So our operation must be two-dimensional. After all this spiritual thing, it must produce tangible results that is usable on earth that solve real human problems. It's God that invented water, invented osmosis. Let me not go chemistry now. It's God that invented the universe. It's God that invented biology, invented man, invented medical science, invented health. It's God that created medicine in the bush. So after healing power of God. I just told you about exercise. There are 7 laws of health and longevity. I obey them. You know, like prophetic conference is going on now. I don't get enough sleep. 3, my spirit is awake, and when the engine is flying, the body must follow, go on air. Papa Idahosa used to say, once my spirit is awake and tuned in and the body is still sleeping, I will leave it behind and be going. He goes for early morning prayer meeting. But the truth is, in your car in the aircraft. The aircraft does not go where the body goes. It goes where the engine directs. The body follows the spirit. The body of the car follows the engine. If not, there will be wahala. If your body is what is ruling you, you are in trouble. So Mordecai mentored Esther for years. She turned 17, 16. They sent her to the Patience to complete the training. When she arrived, they put her under an Enoch, a mentor, for a whole year. You're a good girl. You're morally sound. You are beautiful. You are kind. You're other. It's not enough. You're going to be dealing with a serpent called Haman. You're going to be dealing with a demon in a human form. Learning to cry and do soft girl. It's not enough. But now she has to learn the art of femininity, the art of influence. Let me not say some things. And then she packaged that good, morally sound girl with those skills and walked in before the king. Some of your ordinary hair, you don't know how to do your hair. Personal grooming, you don't know. You smell, you're a believer. Packaging, you don't know. Go and study people that understand it and learn it. No man, no brother is looking. A woman is a magneto. When you pass, you draw. If your magnet is not having any effect, you have neutralized femininity. You don't know what a feminine influence is. The most powerful power on earth is not the men, it's the feminine influence. That's what rules the men, in case you don't know. It was a woman that brought that in. If Satan brought it, Adam will not eat. If the devil had brought that, because Adam was not deceived, he gave the job to a woman. That's why on earth today, he has given 70% of his job to women. The church needs to give 70% of our work to the sisters. What the prophets could not do, save Israel, they couldn't. A whole Mordecai with all the anointing couldn't. He sent a 16-year-old girl. He destroyed Satan's greatest giant, Haman. Brought Israel the greatest wealth, the greatest promotion, the greatest deliverance they have known in their history. Till today, as I'm talking to you, they are still celebrating the Feast of Esther every year. One woman. So Satan uses women to destroy the world. The church must use women to save the world. Was it not a woman that brought the apple? A man fell. Was it not a woman that brought the Savior? A man came back. You don't know who you are. You're just sitting in church. Church girl. Everyone says serpentine wisdom. Be as wise as the serpent. After what you're learning in church, you have to understand the world where you live, how it functions. I was shocked that Jesus could make a statement. That statement bothered me for some time. Then I understood why. He said the children of this world are wiser than the children of the kingdom in their generation. The ones who have the virtues of the dove must learn how not to be eaten by snakes by learning the wisdom of the eagle. Do like this one more time. They say good people don't last. The reason is that they take virtue and ignore wisdom. Wisdom is a defense. Did you hear what I said? Wisdom is what? A defense. Show it to them. Proverbs. Wisdom is security. Wisdom is protection. So you can live and finish your job, hand it to the next generation. A lot of you are going to be promoted by God. A lot of you are going to find yourself in places. You will be like Daniel in the midst of magicians, occult men. Because God promoted you to the government house. You will be like, and you cannot lose your faith, but at the same time, you will be able to operate there where snakes exist. Because you're also an eagle. You're not just a dove. Oh, you can't threaten me because you're a magician. If you're a witch, you fly. I fly in higher altitude. Do like that. I fly in higher altitude and I fly stealth. Do like this. Don't worry, we are coming. The third day church is coming. When we finish, you see this green passport will be so respected around the world. There is a giant emerging out of Africa right now. You are the generation the world has been waiting for. You are that generation that Africa has been waiting for. We have had Christianity here, but we're flying with one wing. This is what we have been doing. And the plane has been crashing. We are walking on one foot. This is what we have been doing. A church in Nigeria. A church in Africa. You know how many business schools I've been to? Because I've studied church. I've studied. And I still have some things to learn. But God has helped us with that one. Now, is how to mold nations. That is my concern. The society where we live is sinking and we're busy clapping. I have never seen a gospel that did not change the culture. So what is this thing that is being preached? No. I can't rest till this country enters into her rest. You can see that the situation got so serious that I was in Abuja Stadium twice this year, 2 times. Instead of preaching the pure evangelistic gospel, the kingdom entered into my crusade. But then God has helped me with the skill to be able to start with ego and end as dove and lead people to Christ. To be able to, at a stage, switch to the lamb side of God and show them the cross so that people can come to salvation. In one meeting. That's what those ability to do 2 wings has helped me to do. Do it again. Don't forget this message. Anytime you start forgetting, your right brain and your left brain must be developed. So when I'm in a conference like this, in a prophetic meeting, my spirit is so awake. Maybe you look at me, I don't get enough sleep, but I'm fresh. I did certain things to get ready for that period. And when such meetings end, I go and balance back. Do like this again. I go and balance back the equilibrium between my spirit and my body. So you don't break one down. You are great. You are great. You are great. You are great. great. You are great. You are great. You are great. Everything written about you is great. So, just like God has 4 dimensions, you and I has 4. Our spirit is number 1, the ego. Our body is the other. That is the face of the man. It is when God took that face and manifested here, they killed him. Because that part is vulnerable. And we have this treasure in earthen vessel. Then on the inside, we still have the soul. Then outside, we have our hands. You know what I mean? Your work, the works of your hand, your vocation, and your finances. The 4 must be in order. Your spiritual life, your intellectual and emotional life, your physical life, and your financial life. Then you gain wholeness. We're going to have that session where we'll talk about this. That's complete human development. For example, I'm sure you know that all of them have two dimensions to them. When it comes to spirit, being born again is not enough. You have to develop moral excellence. If you're born again, but lack character and morality, you're born again is nonsense. This is the damage, the excessive grace message is causing. So it's spiritual and moral development. You come to the soul, it's not just the mind. There is the mind and emotion. So it's both intellectual development and emotional development. You come to the body. Maybe that's the one I want to stop. You have to develop health. What's the use of having perfect health if you lack safety? Is health and safety. Because if sickness can't kill you, you leave the door of safety open. Satan has other tools with which to do it. Now you are carrying treasure on your inside. You cannot break the vessel that is carrying it. The issue of health management and physical development is very important. And even in school, there is physical education. Why do they include it? Then the issue of safety. Some of you still drive carelessly. With all the bad roads, all the potholes, you still travel anyhow in the night. With all the crazy drivers, you still overspeed and drive anyhow. Hey, you have to do the one you can do so that God can do the one that you cannot do. I end my submission this morning with just one text. In 1 Samuel chapter 19, please, is it chapter 19? I think I'm likely to be correct. Show them where in the whole Israel there was no weapon. Because I was trying to understand why God would send David to the Philistines for training. At that time, where he was being mentored, there were only 2 pieces of sword in a whole nation. The one owned by the king Saul himself and the one owned by his son Jonathan. David actually first began to own a sword because Jonathan, when they had covenant, gave him his own sword. No other person in Israel had sword. When he killed Goliath, he had to use stones and the supernatural to do it. And even though he defeated Goliath, he knew that this is not how to build a nation. There was no smith found throughout the land of Israel. Not one. This technology. For the Philistines said, let the Hebrew make sword or spear. They don't want to own defense mechanism. They don't want to have defense. So, what now happens? Yes, verse 20. But all Israelites went down to the Philistines to sharpen every man his share, his cutler, his axe, and his match. So the technology doesn't exist in Israel. So number one, you go to the Philistines to buy, and the only thing they can sell is equipment for farming. Then when you use your equipment, your cutlass is dull. Even to sharpen it, no technology. You use your shovel is dull. You use your digger, is dull. To sharpen it, no technology in Israel. The whole of God's people goes to their enemy and take the resources of their own kingdom and be making the same enemy rich. That is killing them. This is the greatest enemy of Israel. Yet their economy that was powering them was coming from Israel. The agriculture economy, when they finish the little money they made from selling their product, they go and give it to them because they have technology. Defense technology plus agriculture technology. So God saw this. My people are good people, but wisdom is lacking. He said the future leader will not be stupid like Saul. Send him over to go and do technology transfer. A nation cannot sublet their whole defense to another. Verse 21, I want to end. Yet they had a file for the mattock, for the cutler, for the fork, and for the axes, and to sharpen the gut. These Philistines providing all this service. 22. So it came to pass, in the day of battle, there was neither sword nor spear found in the hand of any of the people that were with Saul and Jonathan. But the AK-47 are all in the hand of the Philistines. But God's people are using prayer. The Philistines are not strong. David has already demonstrated with a stone. That day they all ran, and the Jews pursued them and killed them. David took the sword from the man that was armed. It is armed and armed man. So what is giving them this boldness is that they have arms. They have technology, and your God is also a lion, not just a lamb. He's also a warrior and a man of war. All these attributes is to show us what we can manifest on earth. In the day of battle, no weapon. It's only with Saul and with Jonathan, his son. That's what made Israel vulnerable. So God said, no, we need to end this Saul style of leadership that empowers only a few people who can afford security, afford police guards. We need to build an army. So he raised a David. And from that day, you will not find a leader in Israel that led Israel that did not have balanced training. Everyone do your hand like that.